Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming. This is the wrap-up video covering Week 3 for Season 57, 5 vs 5 Grand Arena Championship for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I am joined by my regular co-hosts Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, I know we're kind of crunched for time because Sasha's got other plans here starting soon, so we're going to be a little quicker about it. But briefly for me, I went 3-0. I had a bye round in Erodium round 1. And yeah, just had, good results otherwise. Nothing too crazy popped up for me. How about you, Dagger?
Went 2-1.
Yeah.
Like, what note? Do you want my fight now, or what?
No. Just no, it's fine. You're 2-1. That's why I say right at this moment.
I was fighting in the top 100. Do you want a breakdown of me having 1.5 million on all my opponents and 300 relic levels?
Okay, yeah. So you were just like sumo sitting on kits, so that's fine. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. By the way, you are starting to cut out a little bit, so I don't know if that's like a location issue or we're just having an unfortunate.
No, I still don't have internet.
Oh man, you are just still roughing it out there, man. I'm glad you're no longer floating though. That's
we
good.
just got.
Yeah, you just got disconnected by whatever it was. TJ, how about you? How was your week?
Man, real life and things like that, it was a 1 and 2 week. I did get to end the week with an Erodium, so I'll take my little limp away as I got just hammered out, but not being able to lock in the way I wanted to. Stuff happens, bad matches, but that's all right.
Yep. Sasha Aisha, how about you? How was the week?
It was a lot of, I'd say, as much fun as I can have having only one real match and having lost that match. I went 2-1, but the match that I had that was legit in the top bracket was a match against Aesop that was just a ton of fun. I lost by one banner. I had really control of my own fate going into a cleanup where I just needed a certain amount of banners, and I felt pretty comfortable. I undermanned, and it was one of those situations where the opposing squad got off an AoE just before, basically the penultimate move. It's sitting there. I know I have no button I can push that won't kill the opposing character, and it has just taken off protection from each of my guys, and I lost by one banner. At the same time, I wasn't even angry. I just came out. I'm like, that was a ton of fun.
You can't do nothing about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I had. And then, it was 2 Erodiums. So for not winning a single legitimate match, I had a ton of fun, dude. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, hey, glad to hear that. And Fatal, how about you? How'd the week go? The grand finale.
It was decidedly not very competitive. And I think I went 2-1, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Just kind of been in a weird funk where defensively the theory crafting's been fun, but the whole Rolo situation, everything, literally every match this season, I watch one of the teams that I worked hardest on just die to a Rolo that's confirmed to get fixed soon. And honestly, this season was just a learning experience for me of I waited about a month to pull the trigger on reporting Rolo because I was like, nah, people seem like they're having fun with this team. I'm sure it'll get fixed. When I reported it, I could just wait a bit. It's no, I'm If it is this nature of team, it's just going to get reported next time. I'm not going to wait because the whole process of seeing this stuff get fixed, when I first reported it, I just showed a Leia fight. And the way it seemingly got conveyed to CG is, oh, well, this Rebel team is beating Leia. And that wasn't really the extent of the damage, and I think it's kind of just on me for the messaging issue, but as a result, most of my efforts this season were kind of pointless because there was a team that was not in the spirit of the game, and everyone was willfully using it to destroy, Saul Luthen very easily. And I just didn't want to use it, so I was playing at a disadvantage, and I don't know. It's just a weird week, but yeah, 2-1.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely understand for somebody that likes to be as creative defensively as you, something that easily executed and overpowering. Yeah, I can sympathize.
Oh
But-
man, Fatal's gonna love to hear this. I got the Sorty Nuke team to beat a slacker.
I mean, yeah, the buff immunity stops the advantage, and they're just a free team. That's one
Yeah.
of us at 16. Enjoy
Yeah,
your stay.
you're talking about cheap teams.
Which is
You're
ridiculous.
talking about cheap teams that are. Yeah.
That is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I was just piggybacking on the cheap teams with mechanics enabled by Datacrons to just dog walk a GL.
All right, guys. It's actually been a pretty information-packed day here. As of today, which is September 3rd, 2024, we've actually had the Great Mothers kit come out in detail, which we're about to cover. And then this dropped just minutes ago, this huge community update. And there's so much information. I think we're going to break it down as a group in the in-between episode, so next week's Plotting and Scheming, because we're definitely not going to have time to do both, and we wanted to cover the Great Mothers because it came out earlier. So, without further ado, guys, I'll just read a little bit and we'll stop and talk about it. But, kit reveal the Great Mothers, unit name, Great Mothers, not the Great Mothers, just Great Mothers. Alignment, Darkside, Night Sister, Darkside, Support, and Leader. Key attributes, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to read all that. The inspiration we don't really need. Blah, 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 blah. Strategy tips. In Territory Wars, Blessed stops instant defeat effects, which makes it valuable against enemies, such as JMK and Cat. Doomed enemies lose their protection, making Great Mothers excellent against teams with a lot of protection and protection recovery. Blessed allies can target doomed enemies, so you can quickly defeat weak enemies without worrying about taunt. Blessing your attackers is generally the way to go because of the assists and offense buffs, but blessing Morgan Elsbeth can be valuable in some situations because her basic ability is extremely powerful. I'd have to actually check that to remind myself what it does. And the ability to ignore taunt and use her special 2 on a doomed enemy can be game-winning. That I can absolutely believe. FAQ, what is an elite marquee? This is a rare type of event that signifies a unit with more power than a typical marquee, but at the same accessibility. The power level is closer to a journey guide unit than your typical marquee character. All right. She is like Jabba, is a large unit, so okay, that's fine. And we can't bring in summons. Not that I think there is such a thing for Night Sisters anyway. But she'll come out here in a couple of days. Blah, blah, blah. She will have a bespoke Datacron. Everybody saw this one coming, of course. And yeah, we can't help ourselves when it comes.
They announced the Datacron like a month ago.
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are only just finding out today. I don't know why, but yeah, there seems to be a decent bit of, surprise. And it's like, yeah, there's no reason to be surprised. Because even if you didn't know the previous announcement, how could you not see this coming?
But I think the problem is, though, the last time we had this, and I think, because I know Dagger's probably trying to go into it, is the last 2 times it was announced with the release of the Datacrons. So here, Fair. Indicator is there because, right, we go back to the last 2 times and at least we knew it was coming, and that's fine. This one, it read like we're not getting any additional Datacrons. Surprise, we are. So I think that's probably more the concern is that the precedent was, yeah, you can see it when you're dropping all the Datacrons. And so people are going to go, say you're going for Morgan, right? And it's like, I'm going for Morgan.
But would it really have made a buying decision for you to know? Because how could you ahead of actually seeing the character?
No, they announced the Great Mother Datacron in the Morgan kit reveal.
Right, but how could you really judge it? I mean, like you guys said, like we had the benefit of having the character kit prior to in the past, but not today. So it's like, yeah, I mean, how are you really going to assess the value of that level 9, whatever it was, without the character, you know?
It's going to be better than any of the other Night Sister level 9s, probably, considering they're all, I don't want to say they're junky, but you know.
Yes, I think that's pretty reasonable, whatever it ends up being. Is a Great Mothers required for Balin Skull? Yes, at Relic 7. Why did you spell it magic with a J instead of magic with a K? Because they're a little bit different abilities, blah, 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 blah. Different way of connecting to the Force.
All the Night Sister stuff is spelled with a J. Look at Mother Talisman's kit.
Yeah, they made it different because the Great Mothers are thematically...
It's a K. It's not it's magic with a K, not a C. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
J for this
G,
one?
not a J. Yeah, and a C added as well. Yeah.
So I know you're going through it, and the one thing I want to call out because when it first came out, there was actually a call out in the original document. I don't know where it happened now, and I'm not seeing it. In their top part of the document, it talks about GAC. So there actually was a GAC clause about instant defeat immunity. I'm not seeing that now.
No, it's in TW. I think it said it specifically.
No, what I'm saying is in the blurb and key attributes or in those points, there was a point about it, and I even think Arnold did a video on it showing it. In GAC is where it was called out the Great Mothers prevent instant defeat immunity. So it was calling it out, and even Arnold posted about the thing when he did his video. So I'm not seeing it now when it talks about that. So I think that's weird.
Prevent instant defeat immunity. Yeah, I don't think I saw anything like that on a first pass. But
it was one of the first blurbs that came out right when they brought the document out. It's like the first bullet point, and it says, in GAC, the mothers will prevent instant defeat immunity.
Where is this?
It was right in the key attributes is where it talked about.
At the top.
Yeah, it's not there now is what I'm saying. But if
Okay.
you go watch
Yeah,
like
they've gone
Arnold's
back.
video.
It turns out it's a TW attribute.
Yeah, okay.
So that's weird. Okay, well, I mean, but that's still, it's like, that's crazy that they had it there. But at least, I mean, they're clearing it up.
So I think actually this design inspiration is kind of important understanding the kit, so I will cover this. From CG Ant. Designing the Great Mothers was a really fun challenge, especially since I wanted each mother to be properly showcased in the kit. I ultimately settled on having 2 powerful granted abilities, in addition to their special ability, which inflicts an enemy with Doomed and grants a Night Sister ally with Blessed. Blessed was inspired by the scene in Ahsoka, blah, 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 we don't really know. In the game, this translates to giving a Night Sister ally if you're choosing a myriad of buffs. This lasts until they've served their purpose, either by winning the fight or by being defeated. Doomed was inspired by the Great Mother's resemblance to the Fates in Greek mythology. In Greek mythology, once a person's thread is cut, they're doomed to die. There's nothing you can do to change their destiny, even if you defeat the Great Mothers. In Swugga, doomed enemies will have their max health reduced over time until it's reduced to 1 max health. Combined, these 2 effects make the Great Mothers very powerful since they can dictate the destinies of everyone in the battle. Each battle will unfold differently depending on who you choose to doom and bless. I hope you all have fun playing with the Great Mothers as I did designing them. All right.
I'm going to just go on a limb here and say that I will not enjoy playing with Night Sisters. Night Sisters are incredibly boring as a faction.
I mean, why? Why you say that?
I just don't like Night Sisters. They were ruined for me forever with the Night Sister cheese, with like the paper zombie paired with all the revives. There's nothing they can do to resurrect intended Night Sisters in my mind.
I was about to say
I will just not.
Did you ever think that maybe they designed this with exactly you in mind? It's like, look, guys, we can do more Night Sisters, but can we absolutely never do that resurrect, cheese crap again? Like, can we?
Maybe they'll grow on me. I'm just saying, I'm still burned out on Night Sisters from like 7 years ago.
All right. Well, I hope you'll come around because, if nothing else, take solace in how absolutely stunning the animations are for this character. This is like a top 5 animations character for me in the game. Like, I can't wait to see what you think as we're going through it here. But yeah, the basic energy threads, maxed out tier is a Zeta. Final text, deal special damage to target enemy. If the target enemy was doomed, inflict tenacity down for 2 turns, and they lose 20% max health, stacking until the end of the encounter, which can't be evaded or resisted. Otherwise, inflict ability block and speed down for 2 turns. Blessed allies gain foresight for 2 turns, and non-tank blessed allies gain stealth for 1 turn. That is an insane amount of power just for a basic. No other
Have they
comments?
confirmed whether or not the max health stacking is additive or multiple?
They have the submission link for the FAQ at the top of this thread here, so I'm sure that's going to be one of them.
Okay.
Or it could be.
So it's not on. So it's not on .gg then.
It may
.gg
well be. I
generally
haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't looked. Is that
Not-
Fatal? Did you happen to look into that already?
Because if it,
Look into what specifically?
Whether or not the 20% max health stacking, the negative max health done by this basic, is additive or multiplicative.
You wouldn't be able to look until the update tomorrow anyway, but it should just be like... It's like taking an exposed damage at the start of every turn for the person with Doom.
Yeah, so just additive then? It's also just whatever their max health to begin the fight is?
This wording has confused a few people, and like there was another recent kit, I think it was Ezra, did the same thing where the wording was like slightly different, but it's just 20% health damage. It's literally just taking it exposed. It's not damage based on health, it's just 20% of your health.
But whatever it is at that time. So the amount
like an expose is always current. That stuff's always current.
Yeah, okay. Always current. Okay. Yeah. Very good.
So we got
oh man, you were just all underwater. Perhaps literally, but at least in terms of how the audio sounds. I believe you. Just grab onto the life preserver, hold on, and hopefully we'll catch you in another minute. Any other comments here, folks, on the basic? All right, let's go into the first special here. Magic Storm Zeta, cooldown of 3. Look at this animation, first of all. This is ridiculous. This looks so good. All right, maybe it was just me. All right, that's fine.
I totally agree. I think it was fantastic.
Their stuff
I'll
is
tell you
like,
how good it looks when I see the numbers behind it. If those numbers are high, then it looks great.
Fatal, it can just look pretty, man. Just be aware it can be pretty.
Just
you
enjoy.
damn guy who has to be factual.
Just enjoy. I mean, the ability itself looks like
sexy,
it's pretty good.
But how does she work? She looks super sexy, but how does she work? It's
yeah.
Just enjoy the motions,
so
man.
all pretties.
You got a 401k? What's your
yeah, no kidding.
Fair, sir, fair.
But yeah, all pretties aside here, the final text says, if the enemy leader is light side, dispel all debuffs on all Night Sister allies. Dispel all buffs from all enemies, and doomed enemies are inflicted with vulnerable for 2 turns. Deal special damage 3 times to all enemies. If this attack defeats an enemy, all Night Sister allies gain defense penetration up for 2 turns. That's a lot.
I'm super excited. I am still, and this is one where I'll even plug your stuff for you, Taz, because I know what you're going to do with it. I want to see what Spirit Bomb does. And when I'm talking about my Spirit Bomb, is Night Sister Spirit. When she bombs you that first move, I am super excited to see what that damage is going to look like under this team in this league, man. I can only imagine, dude. It's going to be, to me, amazing.
So is this like a character that we're putting... Are we setting her up for, crit damage triangle for special damage, so we need very high special crit chance because she's doing special damage 3 times? Are we trying to get the most out of that? Is that something that early jumps out at anybody to do?
Let's see.
Not quite, friend. Not quite. Not at this time.
Oh, I was just going to say, let's wait and see what her base stats are.
Let's wait and see what her base stats are. Okay, that came through.
That's the sort of question for Wednesdays. It's not Wednesday yet.
Yep. I think those are all good points, and I'll wait for the.
So if it's just hopelessly low special crit chance as a base, then it's just not. You're not going to bother.
Mine is just seeing these other characters.
And Tells has a chance.
Low crit chance is not really enough to stop me. I back in ye old days, I used to build Mother Talisman for crit damage solely based on the fact of back in old Galaxy Heroes when abilities used to do like damage that no longer kind of do damage. Like we're talking like your Chariot and your Talisman AoE.
Yeah.
If you build Talisman for crit damage and you hit like 2 or 3 crits on a 5-man AoE, you would just get another turn with her immediately because of her. I
remember the good old days, man. That's that good old yesteryear stuff of, man. That's when Night Sisters were really popular. I'm not talking about the cheesy. I'm talking about like everybody's loading up these other characters, and then they're forgetting about Talzin, and then Talzin's deleting characters because she continues to ramp, and then her tie-in.
Also has like Talzin also has like.
That we still can't really kind of hear you. Or at least
entirely unintelligible, my friend. You know what though? You know what? We made do with this last week as needed. So feel free to just send notes here in the text chat because I don't want to miss your thoughts. But you are not getting through on voice at the current moment. If you're watching the video feed here on Discord, I strongly recommend you stop. All right, yeah, you're saying...
CC Mastery, yeah, he put a good note in there, and I think that was
he's saying that Talzin does have a critical chance mastery and a high base crit chance. All right, yeah, that's fair. It's something to consider, so we'll look for that.
It was a history lesson. But yeah, no, the Wolfulness is just going to be base offense and ratio for the most part. Plus, you have to kind of worry about however much scaling the team does or does not have, because... The thing that keeps on proving true is you could have a character with like a great looking ratio, a great looking base offense, but a lot of teams just come with damage steroids now that like even a great foundation doesn't necessarily get you.
I can't see. Here's my problem with it, right? Because of what they're trying to do, they're trying to put the bombs around the team and build it in like they've done everything else. It almost reads like. And looking at it, it's a support. So it's like, yeah, I'm sure it'll have something. And I'll be interested to see what you do, Fatal. But it's like you're giving Spirit and you're giving other characters that you can potentially make your glass cannons, right? That just blow up stuff. And that's what I'm interested to see is what they're going to do to supporting characters on the top. I don't know what – I'll be interested to see what you do with the Fatal and what it looks like when you're putting the numbers together. But to me, it feels like they're making another awesome – I would call it puzzle team, right? Because obviously Morgan has looked strong. In her opening setup, she was looking strong, even without the mechanics that you were seeing with the Great Mothers. And now with these pieces, I see that they're going to make this a difficult team to play with because obviously you have the cheese, the hiding, you have the hiding acolyte doing the things like that, and then the spirit bombs blowing stuff up. That's what I want to see, right? It's what do they do with the tie-in?
Yeah, it's a squad I'm pretty excited about.
Oh, yeah.
I had been curious what the kit would actually be. I was a big fan of what I was reading from Elsbeth. Not really sure how to apply it, but I like those kits where you have a unique that gets like 80% or 70% of the way to a leadership, but it's not a leadership. If it's complemented with a competent leadership, it can do some pretty fun stuff. And I've got to jump in a moment, but before I jump off, like I guess a couple of things I would point out. One, TJ was talking about, this is such a natural synergy. Again, this happens in the unique with Morgan Elsbeth, but with Acolyte and Spirit hits like a truck and is one of, I think, maybe only 2 characters. There's the percent chance on basic with Darth Sidious, but only 2 characters that I can recall where they did not remove the ignore defense. And Spirit is like such a strong attacker that, in the day and age of high defense datacrons, it can be startling to see somebody like out of nowhere one-shot your tank for 200K, but it's very possible with Spirit. And then Acolyte, there's the aspect of cheese, but it's on its basic 90% of the time. It goes into stealth, so you can catch a decent amount of damage from a target you're not able to get to. But the thing I was really going to call out, just to make sure everybody sort of considers this, and you guys can have a richer discussion on this when I jump, but I know it's all set up around, hey, this is not your Night Sister cheese. You cannot, there are no revives. You just can't revive. But it's a squad that has a really interesting aspect of, with the Doomed, you're building the Doomed and Blessed. You're building some strength of your Blessed squad on this Night Sister team, and you really set a time bomb on the max health of the opponent that's doomed. So it's trying to avoid cheese. Remember, Night Sister Zombie has a revival ability that cannot be prevented. That supersedes your Night Sisters cannot be revived. So Morgan Elspeth has something that says if anybody's teamed with her in her unique, they cannot be revived. Zombie comes back and comes back and comes back because it has that clause thing which cannot be prevented. So I actually, this may have, it may not be full on cheese, but there may be some cheesiness aspects with an acolyte hiding under a zombie with like a devious R9 Morgan out there, and it's scaling under the Great Mothers. So it's there's an aspect that can have some revive exploitability. So anyway, that was just something I wanted to call out. And I know, I mean, Fatal, I mean, hell, you're only using like 2 or 3 Night Sisters on your job list stuff anyway, but you haven't been using Zombie, right? Like in your main use of Night Sisters, you know, Zombie's been a free agent for you, right?
Yeah, Zombie's a free agent.
Yeah.
Zombie specifically is not that great with Marin, at least in also in context.
So I get excited about it. I like it. I mean, a very valid question I don't have a great answer for is for what? Like, what will it actually do? Totally fair, but I just kind of like the synergies with it.
All right, very fair. Yeah, and I know you're going to have to get going here in a minute. If you have any notes you want to put in the text about stuff to do with, you know, fights that you enjoyed this week in your grand arenas, we'll be sure to include them. But yeah, any other comments you wanted to share about the kit?
No, perfect. I'm just, you know, gleaning it right here, real time. But I'll leave some notes. Thank you, guys.
No worries. All right, take care, man.
Later.
All right, let's cover the first unique. To the old ways. It's an Omicron ability. Final text. Night Sister allies gain 30% accuracy, max health, and tenacity, but can't be revived. This effect persists through defeat. At the start of each encounter and whenever an attacker Night Sister ally or Great Mothers is critically hit, attacker Night Sister allies gain Foresight and Stealth for 1 turn, limit once per turn. Whenever an enemy is critically hit, Great Mothers and all blessed allies gain 1% offense, stacking for 2 turns, and recover 2% protection, doubled if the enemy had vulnerable. Whenever a vulnerable enemy starts its turn, all Night Sister allies gain Foresight for 2 turns, and all non-tank Night Sister allies gain Stealth for 1 turn. Whenever a doomed enemy gains turn meter, blessed allies gain 25% turn meter, limit once per doomed enemy's turn. So that's just the base part of the unique. All right, the rest of this is the TW Omicron stuff. While in territory wars, whenever a vulnerable enemy is critically hit, Great Mothers and blessed allies gain 5% turn meter. The first time any other Night Sister ally is reduced to 1% health, dispel all debuffs on themselves, gain Bless for 2 turns if they didn't already have it, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented, and damage immunity for 1 turn, which can't be copied, but it can be dispelled and prevented. Recover 100% health and protection, and have their cooldowns reset. They are defeated when Blessed is removed. If they were already Blessed, they have plus 200% health steal and gain 20% defense and offense. But note that Blessed is not renewed. It's just enhanced for whatever duration remains. And this effect can happen only once per battle. So it's the first time any other Night Sister ally is reduced to 1% health. So I wonder, I guess that would trigger off of Zombie too, though, right? Is that a theory crafting risk of having Zombie in there? If they decide to blow up Zombie first, does that kind of cheese you out of that? Thoughts?
I think that's going to be something for practice.
This team's specifically designed for Morgan.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Zombie's definitely going to not make any use of it, or not real good use of it.
Right, and I'm saying, like, you wouldn't have this on the same, like, you wouldn't have Morgan and Zombie on the same team here, probably. Like, at least, like, you. Well, let's put it this way: if you are doing that, then this is like an offense team. You would never set this on defense where the enemy could choose to cheese you and just go after the Zombie and then buff out your Zombie instead of your Morgan, like that. Yeah.
You don't need to worry about it because they'll never post this team on defense anyway.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, because I think we already saw one, but I think there's at least one other call out for if the enemy is light side. So that means that you really want to pick your fight with it. So, implying offense.
Even if the enemy is light side, you don't want to post this team on defense.
yeah, I mean...
Save yourself.
I want to believe there's something nasty out there where somebody could punish with a Night Sisters team on defense, but yes,
I don't know how.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of the team, right? And then the nuke
We
and
don't
the
know yet.
rocket.
It's
and everything you
fantasy.
do.
It's
But
fantasy.
but my problem, and I agree with it, and I think we talked about it with Enoch as much as I would want to post the team. You can't stop somebody who starts in the beginning of the fight, right? So regardless of like that, Han shooting first, still Han shooting 1st and you're still getting to do things. So it's like I agree with Fatal. I think it's going to nuke some stuff, and I think it's really cool with the team. The mechanics are there, but I think Dagger's called it very well. I think Fatal's called it very well time and time again. This looks fun, right? It looks cool, but they're making sure you don't get to revive. They're calling these things out to go away from the idea of it. So it's like calling it on defense. I can't see it. Now, will it nuke something? I am so excited to see what Spirit's going to nuke. I am.
Well, at the end of the day, we need to see how fast the team is because they lack reactivity. If they.
Yeah. Okay. So the unique doesn't give the team speed. It's just the leadership, but you always have to.
I'm sure we'll see it on a TW. I'm sure we're going to see a TW something.
Yeah,
because that makes sense, right? Because there's Omicrons there, I'm sure, and obviously we have a Datacron coming. I'm sure we'll see some things there, but on a GAC board, I think it's gone back time and time again. And no matter what you can do, there's just not enough space to make, like maybe threes, maybe a back wall team in threes or something like that because it's brand new, right?
No, I understand. It's a reach.
Oh no,
this
team will actually. No, this team will actually be good in threes because the lack of reactivity doesn't really punish it as much.
Right.
All right. Well, let's talk about the
Great Mother Spirit plus Morgan is probably going to be pretty solid, or Acolyte, because they don't actually care about reactivity because they're going to get out there doomed and blessed, and then they're going to punch you.
But you maybe would want to go to that Sasha Aisha level effort of making Morgan very fast then.
Well, yeah. I mean. But yes, that's what I was saying before when my internet, I don't have internet and whatever. I hate.
Yeah, no, you've leveled out for the moment, so we'll take it.
Yeah, but it's like this team doesn't really have reactivity if you don't have blessed and doomed out.
Yeah.
So if you don't, it's like Enoch in that way where if they don't get to go, they probably don't take meaningful turns the whole fight.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have to rank the speed. Sorry.
No, I think all this is. The kit itself is this thing that CG kind of likes to do, where the kit is underbaked, and then now she's coming with the Datacron.
Right.
And this is actually maybe the first instance of this, because we've seen teams that are like a little bit incomplete, and the Datacron pushes them over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the first time that obviously marquee Datacrons are like. I do think that there hasn't been much opportunity for precedent of this. But this is kind of the first time that I would say this feels kind of gross, where like, okay, so you're going to farm this team because you're going to unlock Balin. But also, this is like, as CG proclaimed, a Gungan level team.
Mm-hmm.
So it hits a little bit weird to me for this Datacron to be a marquee 7-star locked thing, because this is like the equivalent of if Bo-Katan Mandalore Supercron or all of that stuff got locked behind the 1 week marquee paywall. I mean, we don't know how good it's going to be. Obviously, we have to wait it and see on that. But if this team is going to be anything decent, I think a lot of it's going to have to come from that Datacron. Whether we're talking like bless everyone in your team or doom people take like massive damage every turn, or like Bo-Katan had her like instant kill execute or whatever.
Right. You can see that whatever premium Datacron they're going to release is probably going to enable some defensive viability, but perhaps not long term. So that's fair.
Also, let's not pretend like we know how good Gungans actually are.
Yes, that was another thing that was just running through my head too. Is that I mean, Fatal's exactly right. Like CG means for you to think that way about it. And it's like, yeah, well, we don't really know what that team really does now that their Datacron's, hours away from expiring.
My interpretation of it is I think that they're saying that the power level of Great Mother with her exclusive Datacron will be roughly in the ballpark of like a Jar Jar Cron. Because I can tell you right now, the team without the Datacron, not really Gungan level. Not even close. Not even like a tier below. It's a pretty big gap.
Is it Gungan or Super Gin? Because as I said, you have what they're really going to do, which we still don't know what they'll actually do to stuff or things.
This team, just looking at it on paper, again, haven't played with it yet, obviously. Mm-hmm. On paper, it looks very much like it's above Saw, below COS.
All right.
Like in that kind of like Bad Batch level, where it's going to do some really good punch-up stuff in matchups where it has like where it's going to be the natural predator of something. I guess what I'm trying to say. This is going to kill something that's already on the board.
I think that's fair. Just because of the fact, especially on the removal of light side stuff, taking buffs away from a light side team, that's a pretty big piece of a puzzle, right? That automatically puts you on the board because you're getting into it.
And what they quite literally could mean is that this is a Gungan counter.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is going to be...
I'm just being, like, when they say... yeah. Yeah, sorry. No, I was just saying, like, maybe we're taking their words a little too much for face value.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, you know, I think much has been said about it here, and the point is that, you know, they're telling us to look for it to be a significant team. It's going to be a meta-defining team, whether that's on offense or defense. We can expect as much. That's fair. Let's dig into the leadership. Yep. Threads of Destiny, the second Omicron on this kit. Final text. Night Sister allies gain 30% defense, max health, and 30 speed. If all allies are Night Sister at the start of battle, at the start of each encounter, and end of each turn, so anybody's turn, if there are no enemies inflicted with Doomed, Great Mother's Dispel ability block from themselves, gains the granted ability Fate Weaving, and takes a bonus turn. During this bonus turn, Great Mothers can only use Fate Weaving. Great Mothers can't use Fate Weaving 2 times in a row. If the enemy leader is light side, so there's that second light side call out, dispel stealth and ignore taunt effects while using Fate Weaving. This is a second paragraph coming at you now, is the next part here, and it's similar to how the clauses are set up in the first, so try not to get thrown off confused, because I was at first when I read it. If all allies are Night Sister at the start of battle, at the end of each turn. By the way, note that this says if all allies are Night Sister at the start of battle, whereas in the first paragraph it says if they are at the start of each encounter. That other language is included, but it's not here. But if all allies are Night Sister at the start of the battle, at the end of each turn, if there are no other allies with Blessed, so we talked about Doomed first, now it's Blessed, Great Mothers remove ability block from themselves, gains the granted ability Gift of Shadows, and takes a bonus turn. During this bonus turn, Great Mothers can only use Gift of Shadows, and Doomed enemies can always be targeted by Blessed allies and Great Mothers. So this implies that it's good to have that Doomed on the desired target before you assign out the Blessed to go after them. Fate Weaving. This is defined as target enemy is inflicted with a stack of damage over time for 1 turn and Doomed, the effect Doomed, for the rest of the encounter, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. Doomed says its protection is disabled and this unit can't stealth. They lose 20% max health whenever this character ends their turn until the end of the encounter, and they can't revive. If this is applied to a raid boss or a galactic legend, it's instead minus 5% defense. And then Gift of Shadows is defined as target other Night Sister ally gains Blessed for the rest of the encounter, or until defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Blessed is defined as this unit will receive plus 20% max health and offense, immune to instant defeat effects, stun, and turn meter reduction. Assist whenever another Night Sister ally uses a special ability on their turn, dealing 40% less damage. That is just all the base effect. Now we get up to the Omicron. While in Territory Wars, Night Sister allies gain an additional 30% max health, defense, and 20 speed. Great Mothers gain instant defeat immunity while a Blessed ally is active, and Doomed enemies have minus 30% defense and offense. Whenever a Doomed enemy is defeated, all enemies are inflicted with fear for 1 turn. This is nuts.
That's why I said this is. We'll see it on TW, right? We're all in the gauntlet. This is coming to T, right? But what I want to know.
Well,
go ahead.
Crunch is going to free roll this, but for the record, Crunch is just going to free roll this. Like, you can't place this on defense.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Datacron will bail it out, but I'll concede that.
Equals get fucked. Yeah, like locked ability block equals get fucked.
It's a good thing I'm only a soldier, but I could freely see this being somewhere on the board and it doing some damage. The only other thing I want to say,
yeah. Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, with the Datacron, yes. Without the Datacron, like we'll see.
Oh,
there's only 16 slots, and we have 8 GL.
We don't need to speculate on that any further.
No. I just want the one thing I want to call out, and I wanted to ask, right, because this is a GAC show. Is right now the only GAC Omicron we have related to this is Morgan's special.
Don't forget that Night Trooper could be applied with this.
But that's my question, because I think Night Trooper has a bigger calling with DTP. So my question would be is we have 2 characters, at least 2, right? We don't know, and I think somebody asked about it, what would be a good 5th, is are we going to see one of the other characters that are coming back? Making, I could say Sasha. I could see that, but do we get another one?
Talia.
I was gonna say, but it could be Talia, right? Could it be Spirit? Could
I doubt we're gonna. Well, Acolyte and Spirit are already on the team.
No, I'm saying which one of them gets an Omicron?
Oh, none. I think we get another Night Sister like in a year or 2 for Thrawn.
Okay, so you're saying that's the FOMO build for the piece of it?
Yeah, like we have enough Night Sisters for 2 full teams without we still have Initiate. All right, like we have Night Sisters left over after these 2 teams.
Yeah, but that was my question. I
think they'll get a 5th the same way Mon Mothma didn't get a 5th for a while, or didn't get a 4th, I should say, and now has a 5th. Mm-hmm. Right, like they're gonna slowly, I think, backfill some of these teams. I don't know. We'll see.
It is interesting that the leadership does permit the application of Blessed outside of TW. It does allow you to take advantage of that instant defeat immunity. That isn't locked behind. Wait, is it? No, Blessed is there. No, it is right there, and then it's Great Mothers. Yeah.
I also like
so
the idea of
an additional Blessed. Yeah.
I also like the idea of both Asajj and Talia because they have relatively cheap cooldowns and their basics are actually solid. So when they get called to assist, like one has a stun and one has a heal your team.
Just to make it clear and easy here, the lead just repeats the granted abilities for some reason. It's not extra stuff.
The lead is just it's enumerating all these different components. Yeah.
No, like if you scroll down, it's literally the same text. Don't let it like twist you up on having to like scroll. Like basically, you can ignore lines 3 through 7.
Lines 3 through 7 from the top of the ability.
Yeah, from the top of the lead. If you scroll down, there's Fate Weaving. If you scroll down, there's Give the Shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fatal's saying that the ability reiterates itself within the ability.
The lead is half of the text that it actually looks like. You can just like take the lead as it is and then take the abilities as they are. A lot of the text in this kit is kind of just table setting and rule setting and like Dungeons and Dragons GM like. Okay, so you can do this here.
I like that. Yeah, that's a pretty good summary.
Right, because it's creating 2 granted abilities, which is pretty rare kit-wise. So yeah,
I think historically the granted ability is explained where it's given, and so it just kind of creates a cluster here because their policy is you show the ability and then show it again later. But now it just looks like the leadership is like a paragraph, and in reality, it's like. Nah, it's a TW Omicron at the very bottom and the first 2 paragraphs, basically.
Well, I mean, you're right to say what you said. I mean, it definitely is impressive. Like it looks like a lot, but I take what you're saying that it's a lot of it's just definition.
Yeah.
For things that are already meant to be assumed elsewhere. But,
and there's a lot of filler, like Fatal said. There's also a lot of filler explaining the exact parameters of the abilities.
Yeah, I think that's all very fair to point out, but I mean, it's still a lot.
I guess what I'm gleaning from this is that this kit is actually relatively simple. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces, but the kit itself is not particularly complex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's take a look at Granted Ability 1, Fate Weaving. And I hope you're seeing some of these animations. This one's kind of less impressive than others, but still not bad. All right.
Did they just imply that the Force is like a thread or a strand.
No, the other ones did. The other ones did. These ones are just busy doing the stuff, okay? They're not talking about it, they're just doing it, okay? That was the other ones.
Video, an outreach video.
Yeah. All right.
And it's got the acolyte in it. I'm canceling this. It's over.
Very good. Very good. Does Pop
Disney Plus
Iger know
uninstalled
about
from
this? All right, final text. Target enemy is inflicted with a stack of damage over time for 1 turn and doomed for the rest of the encounter, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. So we already saw this, right? Exactly. Doomed is again defined as protection is disabled, and they can't stealth. They lose 20% max health whenever this character ends their turn until the end of the encounter, can't revive. And then, of course, the granted ability to Gift of Shadows, which, yeah, I already read out. But here's the art for that. So it's like the first granted ability, it's the first sister casting, and then it's the back two in the second ability. All right. And yes, Great Mothers will not be required for GL Ahsoka, so helpful to know. All right.
But will be required for Balin, so yay.
Yes. So if you're, obviously most of us are going to be going for all of it, but if you had to go for one or the other, now you know. All right, guys.
Go for Balin. He's almost assuredly going to be more fun.
And next. I think it's all but assured. And
rank
next, right?
speculation. Rank speculation. You have no proof.
Except for the wording that they said.
My point is, I'll just say my point is that a GL is going to require you to unlock the character, then build a team as well as that, and then take them all to like Relic 8+. And Balin is going to be probably more like Bo, where like R7's fine.
They've also said clearly that we're not getting GL Ahsoka until the release of wherever it's at when it talked about Ezra. So you know that's at least 3 months. They're showing us the new characters, which we're not talking about today. So we're basically seeing all of the people that are going to be required. So we basically have all of who's going to be required for Balin, which only leads to the setup that we're getting him sooner than we're getting Ahsoka.
Very good.
Well, we're actually getting Ahsoka in like 6 weeks, so it's not like we're that far away from Ahsoka either. Or 7 weeks, something like that.
They said Ahsoka's not. We'll have Ezra.
Oh, I guess it's 10 weeks. Yeah, I guess it's 10 weeks.
Right.
My point is like we're actually not that far away from Ahsoka to begin with.
All right. Well, let's move into the next segment here. So obviously here for it being week 3, we're wrapping up. The season of 5 vs. 5 is over. And as far as meta-analysis goes, I don't know if we'll have a lot to add here, but I just wanted to throw the floor open to all of you. Did anybody have any standout, really interesting matchups that you just hadn't encountered in the first 2 weeks? Anything come to mind? Because I'll pull you guys up on screen to take a look at it if it's updated.
It's not yet.
Afro beats Starkiller, which I forgot was a thing. Not that it's a new thing, but I forgot it was a thing.
Yeah, I would not have remembered that myself. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Reva beats Gungans. Yeah.
Was that Nass
really
or Jar Jar? Because if it was Nass, that's definitely not new news. But if he beat Jar Jar,
I did it to both.
Cool. Oh wow, that is pretty cool.
I did it to both. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, with the Reva Cron, like it just melts. Like you just point GI at the shield generator and it's gone with the AoE.
Nice to know. Well, I mean,
they all assist and shit.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. The set 15 crowns for both of them, so now we'll see what the floor really looks like for that match going forward. But Fatal, any standout matches? Everything was pretty stock for you this week. I know you said it wasn't all that challenging.
Yeah, I don't know. Mostly like I just continued running stuff like Nisus against Jabba Support Crown, and again, just a very contested matchup right now where probably if you see a Support Crown, it's advisable not to risk it. But I wanted to risk it because it's just fun. So I think I lost one where, like, basically I was one move away from the Infinite Loop, and Bouch did her AoE.
Ooh.
And you know what they say about infinitely stacking crit damage is that it infinitely stacks.
What?
And that fucking hurt.
And it does.
And so, yeah, no, like, it's some interesting stuff there, and then like my defense had some interesting like results when it wasn't getting cheesed the fuck out by teams maybe a little bit too powerful for the game to exist. That CG has confirmed they'll be changing soon. But yeah, like the puzzles kind of worked, and the offense, the like off meta stuff I was chasing kind of worked. Where like I beat Sport Crown once and lost barely once. That it's going. It's just I don't. I do kind of feel the lack of top rank sometimes, where it's like, yeah, I think some of the holes that I was getting weren't necessarily earned. Or I think
yeah, I mean,
Sasha and a lot of
I don't know
if I would have fall for it.
I don't know if this piggybacks on what you're saying or not, but like this week was definitely a lot more boring for me because I think I faced like 5 total GLs on defense all week.
Geez, yeah,
So,
people playing it safe.
I basically had to go out of my way to make it interesting because I just got bored. Like after I clear the front wall and be like, I just want to try stuff because this is boring.
Yeah, like the one loss that I had this week was eminently winnable, but this was kind of the first week of their feeling came back of I have to choose between playing to win and playing to have fun. I know it wasn't even a moment of choice. It's like we're gonna do the cool fights, right? It's like, yeah, we're gonna do the cool fights. It didn't work out. I lost. It's like, oh no. Anyway, I guess I'm 2-1 this week. So, oh no.
Such is the price.
And it turned out it was like a content creator who like uploaded it as like be fatal type. Or, I don't know if he did. I didn't actually like have time to check the video, but I don't. It just continues to be like, yeah, sure, you got him in.
Yeah, that's right. But you'll remember him next time because that's how that works. It's like, okay, I see you.
There's a piece of it that's like, no, just
sorry.
When I see that, it's like, I could just go back to cracking skulls. I don't know. Like, is that what you want, or do you want me to take like the risky for fun fights that it's like? I mean, there were a couple this week where it was legit. Like the image that always goes through my head is like Luke right after he shoots the torpedo at the Death Star, and it goes in, and he like does that like 2 or 3 seconds just like breathing and just like that's the shit that I'm chasing in Office. I'm like, listen, man, my stream is literally titled "Risky Fights." We know what the fuck it is. I'm like. Do you want me to run sortie? I could sortie this team in 8 seconds, probably. I push 5 buttons and that's going to disappear. Is that what you want? We can do that. I don't know if it's going to be a better viewing experience, but my MMR will increase.
This is just one humble Grand Arena player's opinion, but fuck what they want. Do what's actually going to keep you playing, because you've mentioned before, like it's sometimes it's tough to keep caring about Grand Arena when the meta disfavors the way you want to play it, and you've decided that what's going to keep you playing the game long term is playing it your way. Screw them! Do what you want your way! It's your
I don't
show!
think the meta is exactly there right now. CG just keeps on getting squeaky toys to throw at me. They're just like, I don't know, here's set 16. And then I go chew it and squeaky for a couple of months. And then they're like, power data run. It's plug and play. It's like, okay, squeaky. And we'll see where things go from there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Since we were already just pinging off of you for any interesting meta matchups, why did anything stand out to you at all for your favorite attack and or defense of the week, Fatal? And then we'll go back through the rest of these.
Still kind of the same answer as before.
Yeah.
It just
That's what
I had more people try to do like the C solo against C, and that got a hold. I had someone try to Bane my Saul Luthen team, and Drogon shot Bane in the head for 600,000 damage. And the team was looking pretty good at that point. And then the content creator used Rolo against it, and the team looked pretty bad at that point because Rolo's kind of a bullshit team.
It's all very true.
But yeah, no, it's the places that I put effort this season got results, and so that's kind of my meta takeaway is like, I think going into the next couple of months, I think I'm just going to go full trust my gut, try the stuff that I've always wanted to try but never really wanted to. Because even like that Ray team that I ran as a gimmick one week, that gimmick worked. That literally did just like steal 20 banners off of a person because they fell for it. That like I don't know, man. You yourself say, and I tend to agree, that you play the person and not the meta. In some, right, you look for vulnerabilities in the specific person you're fighting.
Yeah.
And that requires level time that I don't think I have right now. But I think I just want to adopt a defensive strategy where I just place a bunch of rakes. And, like, statistically speaking, everybody sucks at this game. Some of those rakes are going to get stepped on. And that'll give you some budget to dick around on offense.
Then you're going to have a ton of fun this next season of threes, right? Because that particular play style wants as wide a footprint as possible to set as many rakes.
3v3 has always been kind of a safe refuge from most of the issues the game has. Not always, I think. When the goings were real tough earlier this year, even 3v3, I think, was kind of feeling the strain. But yeah, 3v3, as much as I dislike the game mode, like, just the idea of existing, I far prefer 5v5. But just the nature of its dynamics, it tends to be resistant to a lot of those issues. That, yeah, this should be a interesting 3v3, I think.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun talking about it next week. I'm still... ironing out the details, but I'll let all of you know, my fellow co-hosts, just as soon as possible, who our special guest will be for the next week. So it'll be fun. We'll have a good time. But, Dagger, how about you? Any particular attack and or defense from this last week that really stood out to you?
My favorite defense of the week is you attempting to gaslight me at every chance you get.
I feel like that doesn't really answer the question in good faith. But go on. Go on.
No, I don't know. I don't really have a favorite defense hold. Nothing really held.
Okay,
I had like a hold on like Queen Amidala, and it's like, yay.
Yeah, and did we not say at the start of this season or at the end of the last 3 season that we felt like the impact of set 16 was going to swing us back towards more of a one-shot, more efficient meta? And indeed, we're seeing that somewhat play out. Like, defense was still challenging to some degree, but there were many more matches that came down to 20 banners or less this season.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Every one of my matches felt kind of like a puzzle, but it was one of those puzzles where I could just, like, pound the puzzle pieces into the puzzle while it was on the table.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, like, I lost one because I like decided to get cute on the front wall and then like impaled myself, and then that's right, I took her call. I took my girlfriend call. See, this is where I'm at with Gak. My girlfriend called and I answered her call in the middle of a Gak fight.
Can't do this stuff, man. Gotta tell her.
I'm just like, that's where I'm at in Gak. Like, I will take phone calls during Gak now. Like,
you gotta have it set up like with the quick message that you can just swipe up to your thumb where it sends back to her.
No.
Lady, I have to finish my phone game. Wait your turn. Know your role. Period.
I've laughed. I've got a wife of same stature and size, and I'm aware of the repercussions of saying such things.
Well, this is actually a part of
you understand this. The problem is that the girlfriend is so short you don't see her coming.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm just looking straight ahead, and all of a sudden I'm getting assaulted, and I have to look down, and it's like, God damn it, woman.
Yeah.
Well, this is part of the genius of the CG recent design is when you got a team like Bane who can just one-shot you in one move, or Sortie who can one-shot you in 5, you can be 2 moves into a fight and then have a 4-minute and 55-second phone conversation, and then go back, and you can just hit those last 3 buttons, and really, it's just here to be flexible with your life plan. That you know.
So there it is, Dagger. Pick your matchup and knock it out a few seconds before answering the phone call, or you're just setting a timer in the background as soon as you answer the phone, or you're watching the call time. That's the technique. All right, TJ, how about you? Your favorite attack and or defense of the week?
Don't really got one this week, man, unfortunately. The 1-2 killed me. The not getting to do things in the real life caught me. I guess favorite one, funny enough, I think it was, it was Treya. Probably Treya was my favorite one out of all of the things like that. Treya was still doing good work with the defense on defense combo. Other than that, it was a pretty clean week, so there's a lot of boredom.
Yeah, Savage lead really shines as the lead for that team whenever there's defense available as a stat on the Datacron set. That is just nuts. So I believe that.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
do have something to bring up.
Go
Now that I
ahead.
think about it.
Go ahead.
I brought this up to Task, and I'll bring it up to Fatal. Maybe he has a better idea of what the hell's going on.
Hmm.
But basically, I ended up doing gas mirrors a couple times this week because I'm 0 for 3 using bounty hunters. I go first. My Mando's faster than their Rex. But what happens is, when I mass assist, Fives jumps the turn order and then removes turn meter from Bosk, and then Rex goes. So Bosk doesn't get to do with mass assist. And it's happened to me 3 consecutive times,
You're not following Rule 1.
which
Just
is...
don't have that happen.
Oh, right, sorry.
You must exercise proper technique, Dagger, in all things.
Yeah,
Having
yeah,
that happen
no.
3 times in a row is genuinely kind of insane. Like, that. My condolences.
Yeah, but you know
Yeah.
what, though? There's 2 types of luck. The type of luck where, you lose out on things like this, but you don't get hit by a bus when you cross the street, and then vice versa. Just
I don't
context.
know if there's ever a world where, like, if you're truly just like never again, that you could just like. Well, actually, hey, with the current Datacron season, you could just go work on a Tenacity Datacron, and that'll just never happen again.
There we
Fair.
go. Yeah, I can also do that with the Garn IST. Just put 100% tenacity on that bitch, and ain't no gas gonna touch me ever.
Soon. I'm looking forward to that. I want Gar ISC back on the menu, because, I've long since had to reclaim.
No, I mean,
in threes,
they kept on releasing Datacrons that like fucked with the matchup, and
Yeah.
it just completely doesn't exist in my mind at this point because it was just we're doing another damage reduction. Okay, yeah, man, all right, yeah, sure. I'll see you in 4 months, maybe. No,
Sure.
they're doing
Yeah.
another one. Okay, all right, that's crazy. We're doing this again. What? And we're in a Jedi Datacron. Hang on, one stack of retaliate, damage reduction or damage reflection. That's fine. Jedi allies dispel debuffs. He can't dispel death. Dead ally, special during their turn, stun. Special during their turn, stun. Nope, sorry, come back in 4 months.
Yep. Yeah, just a laundry list of go fuck yourself to Gar. That also shuts off Wampa. See, the problem for me is that shuts off Wampa, which is really obnoxious because Wampa works in threes. And that's, well, we can say that for the in between. But yeah, I'm just bummed that Wampa won't be killing gases next. It was a good season.
That Jedi stun scares me more than anything else, just defensively.
We've had it a
seen
couple
anything
of
that
times, and
scary
every
since
time
that
we've
too.
had it, it
Sorry.
has warped. Every time we've had it, it has warped the meta around it.
What do you mean I don't get to push but or that it's just a fucking casino of AI whims and just like you'll get to use your echo, but we're stunned in tech. Good luck, figure it out.
This is happening. It's happening. So enjoy that. That's right. For my part, for my favorite attack and or defense of the week, well, first of all, I had DTMG with Enoch Knight, DTP, and Scout hold twice this week. I don't know against what. I'm hoping it was against Malgus, because you would think that's the most usual suspect. But
Certainly top 2.
yeah. Well, what's the other one?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm hoping Malgus is in that list because I do think Enoch not necessarily solves the matchup, but at least tries to fight back on that Predator.
I'm fearing that it's mostly just the Night Trooper Datacron that's doing the heavy lifting. If that's my honest concern. Like if it is Malgus, I'm still gonna think about it because I'm still thinking it's mostly the Kron. We got a lot of time yet with set 16.
No, it absolutely is the Kron. Like
Yeah,
I fought
does
that
not.
team on defense without the Kron, and it's not good.
Ah, I see. Let's see here.
Well, let me rephrase that. Let me actually explain a little bit more. The problem is that without the Night Trooper Kron, the team doesn't have any damage.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's literally just a timeout team. The Datacron lets it be a timeout team while still holding an amount of damage that can actually kill your characters.
But my favorite attack this week was actually just using Jabba on offense against DTMG in rounds 2 and 3. The first time, in both cases, I took the same high defense attacker Kron, okay? But the first time I took Boba, and doing like the third rocket and trying to blow up Night Trooper early did not work. It was definitely too thick for that. But the AoE ability block mostly landed after that, and I thought that was pretty helpful. The second attempt, I went in with Embo, and without Boba, it didn't go quite as well, and we lost that one. So it was interesting to see that round 2 it was a 65, and round 3 I had to clean it up. So that's about it for me.
Considering the DTMG is used pretty reliably to beat Jabba these days, I don't like doing the opposite.
That's completely fair. All right. Wrapping up here, guys. Takeaways, final thoughts. So, difficult to see how the next 5 vs. 5 is going to look when we're just in the first couple days here of set 17. But, right back to you, Dagger. What are your final thoughts wrapping up this season? What's your last word to the people?
I think it is overwhelmingly likely we get Balin during the next 5v5. So that's something to look forward to. I also look forward to next 5v5. We're back to, you might as well just put Gear 12s on defense, because that's basically what you're setting anyways. We're going to have the Great Mother, which is just another offense team, so that's another team you can't set on defense. Not just that team, but it's another team that's just going to, roll the fuck over. So, yay! Defense is dead. I'm obviously being hyperbolic. I'm just annoyed that we continue, the pendulum is swinging back in that direction. I like last 5.
That's our ray of sunshine. Dagger. It's good. It's good. TJ, how about you? Your final thoughts, your last word of wisdom for the people, exiting this season. Because remember, we'll have a lot to talk about for prepping for the next 3s in our next week's video. But your thoughts kind of wrapping up this one, and the last thought for the people.
I'll be interested to see what the new Unicron set's going to look like when it comes to 5s. I'm just going to keep it towards the 5s, right? And I also think Dagger's right. Balin by next 5 feels pretty relevant. That's a pretty big drop to mess with the game while we're in the GL Ahsoka and everything else waiting room. So I feel like that's a pretty relevant point of interest to see how that's going to work. Other than that, unless we start talking about an expanded board, it's going to be Balin talk and DC talk, in my opinion.
Please don't.
I don't know. That's what we're doing. It's just going to be. I feel like that's pretty confident what Dagger said, and I feel like it's going to be what are the DCs going to look like, right? Obviously, we're going to build in. We'll talk about that later, but for 5s, it'll be how refined is it, and what combos are we doing? I think also what we said, warping the meta, the Jedi stun, and other pieces. I think are going to be a fun time.
For sure, that is a granted. Yes, it'll be insane. All right, and
who's ready to see next 5 people splitting Qui-Gon and Beck and having it not be objectively wrong because of the Jedi Suncron?
Fair. Yeah, you got to make room for ETH somewhere, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I'm just Anyway, sorry. I don't mean to be a negative Nancy, so I'm just going to apologize for that. But yeah, just I bet I'll find ways to have fun next 5v5 too. Just man.
I could also see don't discount the Queen team, right? She's got 2 pretty relevant Jedis on her team, so I think it's going to be some crazy.
But if I just click 5 buttons and that team disappears, what the fuck is that stun?
Knock it off. We don't talk about that. Fatal's already told you. Stop talking about the 5-button team. It's not allowed here.
Especially if you don't do the AoE with Sorty and you give Dark advantage and then he does his AoE and it's just casually 380k.
It's a good time. It was fun. I pulled it off once this week, yes. But Fatal, how about you here? Wrapping up the season and your last thought for the folks at home.
Wrapping up the season, I think this is going to be the season that, I know this sounds like overly self-serious, but this is kind of the season that I let get away from me, where literally if I just submit that bug report, I could have killed Rolo, and I think if Rolo doesn't exist, the season actually might have been kind of cool. I feel a bit bad about that one. The bones for an interesting season were definitely there. But yeah, you live and you learn, and this was definitely a learning experience.
That's
Looking
fair.
ahead, I'm actually a little bit contrarian here, where I imagine that like 24 hours from now, we will see the Great Mother Datacron, and it'll be something like Bo-Katan Datacron or Gunga Datacron, and it'll be defense postable for 4 months, and so we'll probably end up seeing them on defense for 4 months. And I actually think that Balin might drop sooner. Haven't those types of characters been coming in pretty hot lately? Where like, okay, Great Mothers are out, we're kind of in the danger zone within like a week or two.
Yeah. Generally, she goes. Generally, I expect her to be in shipments when Balin drops.
Well,
So 3 to 4 weeks.
See. We'll see. But,
But like you said, I think 3 to 4 weeks from like today or tomorrow, right? Like, Balin is much closer than you think.
I could see him being in by week 2 or week 3 or week 3.
All right, well, we'll be looking for them. They've done that several times with these characters getting introduced around that pacing, so I think you're probably spot on there.
We're only, one character away, right? It's usually 4 characters. We're 3 in.
This is the last character. Thrawn is the last one. Thrawn is required.
I kind of have a blind spot right now because of all the posts that just dropped as we went live. That like those posts might actually just have answers of like, well, what's her name, Shin, and what's his name, Merrick, are probably going to be for him. And
right.
So maybe that will inform of like, okay, well, Balin's out, but he doesn't have his stuff, so like maybe the timing wouldn't make sense for it to come like.
Oh, I guess I see what you're saying.
From what I understand, Thrawn and Shin are the last 2. And I think Malik or whatever his name is going to be on the team, not required.
Oh, Merrick, yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I think that's a good thing to unpack, yeah.
Because I thought they announced that Thrawn plus Shin were the requirements. I thought we had that. I could be wrong, but I thought they had announced that already.
I don't remember seeing that, but that's proof of nothing.
Yeah, that's also fair.
Yeah.
Look, if I imbibed as much as you did, I wouldn't remember Shin either.
That's fair. Hey, I mean, it's fair. That is completely fair. Fatal, before I go ahead and wrap up here, as the only other content creator on the stream, before I close us out, tell folks where they can find you. Where are you at?
Yeah, I am at twitch.tv/playbooktv, and whenever that rose back up again, youtube.com/theplaybook. I will be going live to talk about today's news right after this, but this is not live, so you're never going to see this again. Or I guess you could go look at the VOD for roughly 2.5 months before Twitch destroys it forever.
There you go.
Yeah. Some big stuff happening.
Well, so, if you're not planning on making like dedicated content for YouTube, it's still, I'm sure people would probably still be interested in you just like,
there's plenty of stuff that exists there.
Yeah.
To be enjoyed.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. Because I know your analysis of this stuff, people are going to want to see that VOD for some time. So, fair enough. All right. As far as my lessons learned, I learned that as far as doing that sortie thing, I had to make Lobot a lot faster. I didn't have a lot of experience getting wins with it, but that seemed to make a big difference, having Lobot a lot faster. I did a lot of pivoting this season. I'd be interested in pulling an OmegaBot report and seeing exactly how many of my teams switch positions on which walls over the season, because I think it's pretty varied. I did a lot more positional rotation as a response to what I was scouting out of my opponents than I have in metas past, which tells you that there's kind of there does seem to be too much power on the board when you're having to do a lot more of that to kind of play into the opponent's tendencies, as opposed to just setting interesting challenge teams for them having to go through them first. So it was interesting kind of adapting around that, but I had fun doing it. And yeah, that's about it. If you're enjoying, this start of this conquest, it's not so bad so far. I'm motoring through just fine. Get ready, get whatever, hopefully you followed the advice that was given here through the entire last set 16 conquest, and you've picked up, hopefully as close to 30 crons as you can, so you're not caught flat-footed here in the first week of 3 versus 3. If that is not the case, make sure that you go wide enough to at least have 30 crons for 3 versus 3 if you're in Kyber 1 like us. And yeah, just try to be as best prepared as you can. But aside from that, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up. If you want to catch me live, you can find me at twitch.tv/Tassinix. Of course, you are probably watching this podcast on my YouTube, Tassinix Gaming. On this channel, I also upload my VODs with chapters added for easy browsing and some other Soga-related content. We've got the mod guides covering individual characters and factions that you guys have requested, so I'm going to keep on doing that. Have the Datacron set videos as well that I make with Aesop Rock, one of the very top players in Grand Arena. So check all that out there. Of course, Plotting and Scheming is also available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and the RSS feed link is available in the description for each video. So if you're an Apple Podcast listener, you can plug in that link there and enjoy the show there. Let's see. Aside from that, yeah, that covers that. And of course, if you want to be in touch, the link to my Discord community is in the channel description info. Should be in the video information as well. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to support the channel, I did make a Cash App at you guys' request. That is $Tassinix. And if you want to get a little something back, I also do have a Patreon. Check out patreon.com/Tassinix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest to you. $5 a month gets your foot into the TAS house. You get early access to Plotting and Scheming, as well as the Datacron set reviews. So, Plotting and Scheming, for example, comes out for public release on Friday. My patrons are usually getting it Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, depending on when we record. That's usually enough time to give you an edge on your first round of the week's planning, so maybe that's worth it to you. But thank you so much to everybody who signed up here. Arj, Andrew, Brock Thudsteel, Deadpool Cal 28, JJ's Productions Twitch, Jobin4527, Johnny B. Ottawa, Ray's Malbus, Renee Bebe, Sam Vimes, Squed, Stark Strategy Gamer, Sweens 14, White Wolf, and Zoltre. That's the wrong button. Moving up to the $10 a month tier, VIP Access Plus, that gets you the bundled patron access to me and to OmegaBot. So if you ever see that detailed scouting report I review on each and every one of my opponents at the start of the stream, that is a patron level feature of OmegaBot where I can pull greater than 2 weeks of history to build a comprehensive view of my opponent's offensive and defensive tendencies at a glance. Super powerful stuff. Thank you to Stryker and Desh Sotnikam for taking that offer. At VIP Access Premium, that's $15 a month, and that is the double bot bundle. So patron access to me, to OmegaBot, and to Hot Utils, the premier tool for your mass mod loadout and inventory management, so you can easily switch between Grand Arena, TW, Raid, TB modding. Quickly go through your mods, level them up, slice them, sell them. Super powerful features. Saves a lot of time. Thank you so much to Quig, Ibanez, Sir Boss, Funky, Focus, and General Milan. And of course, at the top of the list in Jester's Club Elite, Nomad's Reaper, the one and only, my #1 supporter, just pops into streams just like the last one here to wrap up the season. Dropped literally like more than 100 subs and oftentimes just a ton of biddies to go with it. Incredible support over the years. Thank you so much for all of it, man. And of course, last but never least, our special thanks. First to Yoda Force, one of my earliest supporters, bought me the microphone that I'm speaking to you on right now. He has long since quit the game, but we wish him well from the other side. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you so much for managing our highly inquisitive and destructive 6-year-old in the background while her father is trying to be halfway decent at a phone game. And of course, to my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure recording this with you. I learned something from every episode, and I know that our viewers are enjoying, the quality of having us all here sharing our thoughts. So thank you for making the time available in your busy work and or family and or kitten raising schedule to get this done. Thank you so much. And we come back over to the main scene. Yeah, that about wraps this one up. It's been a great season. I had a lot of fun. And look out for us next week as we go into the longer form episode talking about the preview, all of our preparations and efforts to get ready for Season 58, 3 vs. 3 Grand Arena Championship. Until next time, thank you for watching, and it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.